Hello friends, very warm welcome to this quick revision session. Today's session is related to valuation of goods and services. Related to valuation, one important aspect that everyone needs to understand that these provisions of valuation are crucial part of overall structure of GST law. In normal situation, the transaction value means the price at which the transaction has taken place will be considered as value of supply. Means value into the rate of the tax for that particular commodity or service will give you the exact tax which needs to be levied on that specific transaction. This is in normal case, but for this normal case there are two conditions which are required to be satisfied. Condition number one, that the transaction is between unrelated parties. Means if it is related between the related parties, this rule will not hold good. We will have to consider something else as the value of that particular transaction. Condition number two is that price is the sole consideration, meaning that for that particular transaction, whatever consideration that is being paid is the only consideration for that transaction. That should be the another second condition. If that is not the case, again transaction value will not be considered as value of supply and something else needs to be considered as value of supply. Now, what needs to be considered as value of supply in these two certain situations where these two conditions are not satisfied? That is not there for CA inter syllabus, because that is covered by rule number 27 to rule number 32 of CGST rules 2017. What our syllabus says is that syllabus is restricted to only section 50, which talks about these two conditions and certain inclusions and exclusions which are required to be added or deducted from the value of supply while considering the valuation. Now, these two exceptions for this I have given two examples. Example number one was sale of goods from Mr. X to his brother, wherein they mutually decide to reduce the price, so that tax on that is also ultimately reduced. So that price will not be considered as value of supply because the transaction is not between unrelated parties, it is between related parties. Now, what is related parties? We have discussed that in detail, which is given in explanation to section 15. There is a list of related parties which are given there. Related does not only cover family members, but certain other things such as two partners of the same business will also be considered as relative, and etc. Second example that I had given was related to that chartered accountant who gives a consultancy to one trader for his income tax case, and thereafter after few days when he goes to that shop of that person to buy a refrigerator, the refrigerator's value is reduced to the extent of consultancy service that he had given in the past. So in that particular case, that is not considered as value of supply because price is not the sole consideration here, because something else, means some service which was given in exchange was also reduced from the value, and hence for all such situations there are valuation rules which are not there for CA inter syllabus. So please note that value of supply will be the transaction value provided that the two conditions are satisfied. Condition number one, the transaction is between unrelated parties. Condition number two, price is the sole consideration for that particular transaction. Thank you so much.